Usually when people hear about someone crying at the Disney parks, it's usually for reasons like visiting the parks for the first time, being scared on a ride, or even meeting the character. I've cried at the parks on 3 separate occasions. Not like bawling crying, but like I shed a tear. The most recent time I cried at the parks was when James and I got on the attraction called the Carousel of Progress. Yep, I cried during an attraction that is older than the park itself. Luckily, that showing wasn't packed, and so, only 15 people heard me? For a little backstory, the Carousel of Progress is a revolving stage show about an animatronic family talking about the latest inventions from the 1900s through basically the 1980s. I like the show. It's funny, it has history, which is why it's still there, and I want to know the secret of that family's immortality. I try to watch it whenever I make it to the parks because not only is it a good show, it's a good time to take a break for about 25 minutes to sit in air conditioning. Y'all know that Florida heats year round. Throughout the whole trip, we had a great time. It didn't rain, the times we were at the parks. The crowds were low because people were waiting for the 50th anniversary, so we were able to get on every ride we wanted. And we were able to eat at our favorite food places around Orlando. Shout out to Tijuana Flats and Sushiology. After having a rest day, we were able to go to the Magic Kingdom for our last day in Orlando, and we had a great time. James and I got on Big Thunder. We were able to get on all the rides except for Jungle Cruise and Splash Mountain. That was fine. It's fine. It was fine. And then we decided to hop on the next show to the Carousel of Progress and take a break before we head to Space Mountain. During the first act of the show, while the main character John is doing his spiel about technology and whatever, he's accompanied by another animatronic dog in every scene named Rover. I don't know how or why, but it kept staring at me. Like it knew I was sad. Like it knew I was sad deep, deep down. Maybe I was in the right line of sight for its motion that when it wobbles around, but when I stared back at it, then the waterworks just went flowing. Because literally, it's like it knew. In March of 2021, my dog Apollo lost his fight to a cancerous lump. And just like the dog in Carousel of Progress, he was very lazy. He looked at you soulfully, and he was just an all-around good boy. It broke me. I was a wreck for months afterwards. I still kind of am, but it hurts less now. But during the trip, I was able to keep my mind off of it for the time being until we walked into that show and that dog just started staring at me. The worst part was it was just the first act of the show, and we had 4 more rotations until we were able to get off, and that dog was in the same spot every time. During the next act, we asked the cast member if we could move to a different seat, and they let us. We asked the cast member if we could move to a different spot, and they let us once the rotation stopped for the next act. The cast member gave me a sticker after the show, and we rode the TTA a couple of times before we continued our tour around the park. Besides all of that, that was the best trip that we've ever had at the Disney parks. We won't be going back to the parks due to reasons, but I'm glad that we were able to leave on a good note.